What's happening, guys? So, nice snowy day here at my ROD property in Vagovo, Poland. Yeah, so I figured today I'd take the opportunity. Not gonna be doing any projects, not gonna be doing any traveling really. Just kind of hanging out in the garden, and we'll talk about what it's like owning property as a foreigner, and the stuff that's available to you, and how difficult it can be, and kind of like the general expectations as a foreigner. So the very first thing about buying property as a foreigner in Poland is legal representation. You're going to need to go to a notary, and different notaries cover different things. And one thing in Poland is all documents have to be filed in Polish. And not only that, so if you don't have a strong, grasp of the Polish language and are able to demonstrate that, you're going to need to go to a notary that has a certified translator that works for them, and it gets really expensive really fast. You can't just bring your friend who speaks Polish. They don't accept it, and the prices get pretty crazy just for having a translation done in English. But every single property transaction here in Poland does go through a lawyer of some sort. So be prepared. It's something that you're going to have to do. Realtors aren't really a huge thing here. They do exist. They typically tend to be for more of the high-end properties. Not like, the fixer-uppers or something like that. If you're buying an ROD property like I did, you're not going to find those typically listed by a realtor. You're going to find them on websites like OLX or Facebook Marketplace, and it's all private sale. Some gardens, especially if they're newer gardens, will have empty plots that you can start with, and then you go direct to the garden. And they'll have listings of what's available. But basically everything is already owned for the most part. So you're just gonna have to keep your eyes open if you decide to go this direction. And it's kind of the same thing with apartments. You can buy brand new apartments. They do have companies that are selling new apartments that handle everything for you, which is great. They've got the notaries and everything that they work with, and they're used to working with foreigners, typically some bigger cities. So these are some of the things that you need to think about from the legal aspect. And so next, I guess we'll go on to talking about some of the different types of property that are available to you as a foreigner. Number one thing, you can't own farmland. So I'd actually looked at, possibly buying a small farm or something like this when I first moved here, and it's really not how it works. First of all, you can't buy farmland as a foreigner. It's even difficult for people in Poland who would like to become farmers to purchase farmland. For example, you have to have some kind of a degree or certification in agriculture if you're like becoming a new farmer. Of course, the property can be passed down through a family, which is no problem. But if you're looking to acquire new farmland and you've never been a farmer before, you basically have to demonstrate that, yes, I'm capable of farming. Now, as a foreigner, you can't even do that. It's just they want to make sure that their food supply remains in Polish hands, which, I think is great. But the farmers here is a little different as well. They typically live in a village, and they have like their all their equipment and stuff in the village, and then the surrounding fields. It's not like is the land that they own, but it's not like the United States where the farm is like centralized in their agricultural property. Okay, so what kind of property can you own as a foreigner easily? So the most basic is an apartment. And the reason is because you don't own the land. You're basically, you own the property on the land, and you're leasing the land from a corporation or a landowner. So you can own this property, because that's the most difficult part of property ownership in Poland by foreigners is ownership of actual land. We'll get into that in a minute. The other option for me, like, I didn't want to have an apartment. I don't like people living on top and below and either side of me. I don't like being in the city. So basically, the next option was a ROD property. And these are kind of like garden communes. The government owns the land. You lease it from them, and you just pay the taxes on it every year, and then the maintenance fees to the garden association. And you own everything that is on the land. So once again, like any of the outbuildings, all of the trees, anything like that. So like, say for example, they need to claim eminent domain and put a highway through here. The government has to pay you for everything on that property, given fair market value. And so, there is a level of protection there. Now, the one downside is you have to demonstrate that it's not your primary residence. These are supposed to be vacation homes, or originally what these plots of land were designed for was to stifle food shortages. People from in the cities would lease a plot of land just outside the city, and grow all their vegetables and stuff like that. Maybe have like a rose garden or something that they can't have necessarily in the city, and they still, for the most part, are that. In recent years, the value of these properties, especially since COVID, has shot through the roof. I think I saw something that some properties, depending on location, are up over 300%, it's a massive increase. But you're not supposed to be living here year round. There are lots of people that do. One thing that you're not eligible for if you're staying in one of these places year round is like government subsidies for heating, or because like this year, financially, everybody in Poland is really struggling. So the government gave a stipend for a certain amount of coal or a certain amount of firewood, basically however you heat your home. And these places are ineligible for that because you're not supposed to be staying in them year round. Now, there's been a bit of talk about that throughout the Polish government, because there are a lot of people, especially retirees, who stay here year round because it's inexpensive. Compared to the maintenance on or paying rent on a rental property for like an apartment or something like that, or maintaining a large home. A lot of times what these folks will do is after they've retired, they'll give their homes to their kids and they move into the garden. Now these places are small. You have restrictions on size. Like my place is a little bit oversized, so I actually have to pay an additional per square meter fee on the property. But all of the lots are identical in size. Each family in Poland is entitled to one lot. Now, and that's like, with, so like say I bought this lot, but the next lot over to me was for sale and I wanted a bigger garden. Theoretically, I could ask a cousin or something to buy it, and I just pay the things. Lots of people do this. But that's kind of workarounds to it. But honestly, the size of the garden is perfect. I have a single garden and I really enjoy it. Now, the third option is buying like a house in a village. So if you're buying a house in a village, this is where it gets tricky for a foreigner. Basically, the easiest way to do it is once you have permanent residency, then a lot of these options open up to you. That being said, if you've decided that you want to make Poland your home, and you don't want to wait for permanent residency, once you have your temporary residency card, you can then petition to the Department of the Interior, kind of. And I think they cover agriculture and interior. And you can get special permission to buy land in Poland as a foreigner. And basically, you just have to demonstrate that, you're intent on Poland being your home. And so, it's pretty nice. One thing that I found very interesting about immigrating to a new country is that, the idea of nationalism in the United States is very much looked down upon. Whereas here, the Polish government is really looking out for the Polish people. And I think that's great. They put they're willing to help others, but they put their people first. And I think that's fantastic. So can you buy a regular house and a regular piece of land as a foreigner? Yes, with some caveats. It's a little bit more of a pain in the butt. It's more expensive. But it does give you the security that, especially Americans are concerned about with these ROD properties. But honestly, many of these gardens have been here for a lot of years, and it's not a problem. Nobody's had their house taken from them. You basically have an HOA that keeps everything really nice. And it's super, super convenient. Our little garden is 25 minutes from two larger cities where we can go shopping and this and that, but yet I'm a 2-minute walk from the regional forest, and I'm removed from everything. So it's really nice. If you guys have any questions, please comment below. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe, and we'll look forward to kind of telling you more about the experience as an American in Poland. And hope you guys enjoy. Thanks a lot, and we'll talk to you soon.